Have you ever wondered when you hear Steve Lukather play something like this? Or Andy Timmons play something like this? How these guys can take a few simple notes and make them sound like a religious experience when you're playing sounds like you're reciting the alphabet. Those legends of guitar, yes, they might know more notes than you, but that's not the real reason they sound so amazing. It's because they know which notes are harmonic magnets. Today, we're stripping away the scale shapes and the dense theory. I'm going to show you the magnet principle. We're going to break it down into 3 specific zones used by so many of the greatest players in history. Before this lesson's over, we're going to take licks from Lukather's most famous solo, show you how they're based on the same principles as the melody of Andy Timmons' most iconic song. If you want your guitar to finally speak instead of sounding like a typewriter, we need to start with the strongest gravitational force on the neck, and that's zone 1, the root note. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking the root note is the most boring note on the fretboard. It's home, sure, and it can feel like the end of a conversation. But in the hands of a rock legend like Steve Lukather, or David Gilmour, well, the root note is not just a destination, it's a serious sonic weapon. Now, by itself, playing the root of a chord over that chord, it's going to sound pretty boring. And here, this is where we're going to use the magnet principle. That little movement we just heard, that's the sound of a professional resolution. And all I did there was play the second, the note above the root in a major scale, and then move down to the root. And just that little bit of movement was enough to totally change the emotion and energy. If you just play the root note, it's like you're stating a fact. But if you play the second and then the root, well, you're creating drama. Moving from the second to the root is the key to the melody of one of the all-time great guitar songs, Jeff Beck's version of "'Cause We've Ended as Lovers." Right? Do you hear how your ear feels the root note pulling on that second? Beck takes that second and lets it cry before dropping to the root. Moving to the root like that makes the listener feel safe, but using the second kept them on the edge of their seat because of that split second of tension. And here's some truth. If you can't make the second to the root move sound like $1,000,000, well, there's no scale in the universe that's going to save your solos. Here's what I think is the easiest and most effective way to practice this. We're going to take a simple chord progression like a 1, 5, 6, 4. In D, those chords were D, A, B minor, and G, which is the same progression as Andy Timmons' song Electric Gypsy. And over each chord, we're going to play the second and then the root. So over D, we play E to D. Over A, we play B to A. Over B minor, we're going to play C sharp to B. And lastly, over G major, we're going to play A to G. And find those notes all over the fretboard. And once you're finding them, I want you to play around with the timing and the phrasing elements you're using and make them sing. I'm going to give it a try over the backing track, something like this. Okay, that was pretty awesome, and now it's time to move on to our next magnet note, and it's a big one. Hear that? That's the fourth. It's anxious and it sounds unfinished. It totally plays on our emotions and we can feel it needing to move. And listen to what happens when I let it fall just a half step into the third. That right there, the third, is what we're going to call the heart magnet. If the root we just talked about is home, well, the third is the emotion. And this is why a melodic master like Andy Timmons can sound like he's crying. He doesn't just play the third, he can exploit the panic of the fourth to make the third feel like relief. And check out this little trick. When the chord turns minor, that magnet moves down another half step, and now it's the sad minor third. By hitting that minor third or the major third, you're telling the audience exactly how to feel without saying a word. You're not playing a scale, you're flipping an emotional switch. Most people run right past the third because they're too busy running fast patterns. But legends like Timmons and Lukather do just the opposite. They find the third, they find the tension notes right next to it, and they stay there until the audience is hooked. This is a pro move that most players miss. Now the fourth, it falls into the third. But listen to what happens when we come into the third from the other side. When you slide from the second to the third, you're mimicking a singer reaching for a higher note. And it's not an arrival, it's a climb. And if you just fret the third, it's another note. But if you slide from the second, now it's a story. And it's the exact DNA of Andy Timmons' electric gypsy melody. Andy uses that second as a springboard. He's not thinking about the D major scale. He's thinking about the distance between the stable third and that reaching feeling from the second. Now I want you to notice how the feel of these little licks changes with the difference in direction. Falling from the fourth, well, that feels like a sigh of relief, but climbing from the second, that feels like a triumphant statement. By mastering just these two satellites circling the third, you've already got more melodic control than 90% of the players shredding through scale boxes. We're going to practice exploiting the magnetic pull of the third just like we did before. We're going to play over that same chord progression, but this time we're going to come at the third from both directions. One time through the chords, we're going to move up into the third from the second. The next time through the changes, we're going to move down from the fourth. And again, I want you to mess around with the timing and your phrasing. The magnet principle is all about simple statements with big emotion. So you really need to focus on those phrasing elements, your bends, your slides, your vibrato. Let me play through the progression a few times here and give you some ideas. Here we go. So now we've handled the home and we've handled the heart, but there's one more magnet we need to get to, and that's zone number 3, the fifth interval. Think of the fifth as your anchor. It's the most solid note in a chord besides the root, but we can give it a completely different emotional flavor depending on where we approach it from. And we're going to again use that dual emotion trick. Here's the fifth of D, which is A. And if I just hit that A, it sounds fine. It's professional, but it's also static. And to make it a magnet, we need to use the fourth or the sixth. First, the uplift. When we move from the fourth to the fifth, it feels triumphant. It's like a hero arriving at the top of a hill. But listen to what happens when we come at it from the other side, falling down from the sixth. If we play the sixth and let it drop down to the fifth, the mood shifts from triumphant to sophistication. It's a graceful sigh. This is why a great player like Steve Lukather's melodies sound so expensive and expressive. He's not just picking notes at random. He's choosing whether he wants to lift the listener up with the rising fourth or settle them down with the falling sixth. Let's run that electric gypsy progression one more time. Your mission, find the fifth of every chord and try rising into it from the fourth. Next time through the chords, we're going to drop down into the fifth from the sixth. See which one feels right for the story that you want to tell. I'm going to play through it a couple times, give you ideas of how I would do it. Here we go. So to really drive this concept home, we're going to get crazy and do a little mashup. And this is one of the greatest ways to practice licks and build up your vocabulary. We're going to take the first two licks from Steve Lukather's solo in Rosanna, and we're going to apply them to the chord progression of Andy Timmons' song, Electric Gypsy. Trust me, this is an awesome way to develop your ear and really use the licks that you learn. And another thing, if this magnet principle is real and I'm not just talking out of my ass, these licks shouldn't just fit, they should sound like they were written for this song. Let's see what we get here. Here's the Rosanna lick number 1. Now this part of the song was in the key of F, and Steve Lukather climbed from the root to the second and then lands on that heart magnet, the third. Like I said, the original solo was in F, but we're going to take that sequence and adapt it to each chord in our D, A, B minor, and G progression. Use the diagrams, play along with me here. Let's give it a try. Okay, let's try this same thing, but this time, instead of starting on the root, we're going to start on the third and move to the fourth and then the fifth. So over the D chord, for instance, we're now going to start on F sharp and then play G and A. Let's adapt that to each chord and play it over that backing track. Here we go. Now here's Rosanna lick number 2, and in this one Steve uses a pedal point motif. This is the lick he played. And he's bouncing between the root, the second, and then finally landing on that third. And all the while using the fifth as his anchor. So it's a little different than the formulas we practiced, but it's still all about the magnet notes and how they pull on your ear. Let's give it a go. We're going to apply that same formula to each chord. Once again, follow the diagrams, play along with me. Let's do it. Think about what just happened. We took the DNA from a 1982 pop song and we grafted onto the chord changes from a more modern guitar instrumental tune. And why did it work? It's because the magnet notes, they don't change. The root, the third, the fifth, they sound the same today as they have since the dawn of time. When you stop chasing scales and start chasing the pull of the magnet notes, the entire fretboard, it stops being a puzzle and your playing becomes a conversation. Your challenge for this week, well, it's simple. Pick one song, find the magnet notes for each chord in the progression, and try to reach them using the satellite notes that we talked about. Don't worry about speed. Worry about your phrasing and making your resolutions sound awesome. If you can make the audience feel the pull of those magnet notes and the resolution, you've already won. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into how the legends really think about the fretboard, well then check out this video where I explain the concept in a little different way and give you loads more examples. Like the video, please hit that subscribe button because I've got lots of great guitar ideas coming your way. As always, I appreciate you watching. Work hard, play hard, have fun with that guitar, and never stop learning. Bye.